Hi, I'm Dan with FreshPoint, and I want to take a few minutes and go over the basics of carrots, onions, and celery with you. You might wonder why we grouped them all together. Well, they're kind of the unsung workhorses of the kitchen. Carrots, onion, and celery comprise the classic mirepoix for most all classic French sauce bases. We'll start with carrots. Carrots come in a myriad of shapes, sizes, and colors. The most common would be the clip-top orange carrot. But did you know carrots weren't originally orange? The 17th century Dutch growers developed the orange carrot for the royal family in Holland. Anthropologists believe the original carrots were either white or purple and native to the region in Central Asia that's modern-day Afghanistan. Carrots have a number of grades. Clip carrots, which is what most of us use in our kitchen, number 1 and number 2. You want to look for uniform color, uniform shape, that slightly conical tapering root. Sometimes you'll see little what look like hairs on them. That's a good thing. That means the carrot was grown correctly and it's not too old. They're not overly sensitive to ethylene, but you want to be mindful of storing them in there because ethylene exposure can make the carrots taste a little bitter. You want to keep your carrots in a humid part of your cooler and as cold as possible. If they don't have the humidity, they're going to dry out and they're going to get limp and rubbery. Baby carrots are available and they do have the original purple color. We can also get these in larger sizes, clip top, or even bunched with full greens. We don't see the bunched carrots much anymore. The shelf life is a little lower. The carrot thinks it's still alive, so it doesn't hold on as long. The greens tend to break down and they're just a little more effort to deal with. Flavor-wise, they're identical. Next up, we've got celery. The most common variety in America is the Pascal variety. This variety was discovered and first grown in Michigan in the mid-19th century. California is the leading producer of celery. Celery has 2 USDA grades, number 1 and number 2, based almost entirely of how compact and how uniform the head shape is. You want a compact head. You don't want the stalks to be bloomed out. You want some green. You want to look at the green. You don't want to see any bug damage or any yellowing. Celery likes it really cold and really humid. It tends to dry out and get even rubberier faster than a carrot will. Be mindful of how you handle and store your carrots and celery. Don't stack heavy items on top. They'll tend to be a little brittle and can break. Celery especially. If you drop a box of celery, the stalks run the risk of shattering and breaking apart. You can still use it, but it just doesn't have the same visual appeal. Onions may be the most unsung hero of the kitchen. They can add an incredible sweetness to a dish. They can add umami to a dish if prepared correctly. They come in a myriad of shapes, sizes, and colors. Yellow onions is the most common. This is what we use in the mirepoix. Onions have a number of grades, number 1 and number 2 being the primary ones. We'll focus on number 1. We want uniform shape, size, and color. We want it to be correct to the variety. The sizing of the onion is based on the diameter of the root ball. The largest being super colossal, the smallest being a boiler onion. Jumbo size is the most common and the most readily available in the market, and that's mostly what you'll see in your kitchen. Red onions have the same grades as the yellow. Onions like it to be dry and dark. They don't like the moisture. In fact, when onions are harvested, the skin is really moist. The farmer will turn up the rows and leave the onions outside for a few days so that skin will dry out and make it to market. During the early parts of the harvest, they do market the onions bunched with tops, much like green onions. The tops are edible. Green onions we use for the exact opposite reasons that we do dried onions. We want that green herbal pop from the top. It has less pungency. Green onions do like it cold, and believe it or not, they do like it moist. So they're literally the black sheep of the onion family. Sweet onions are the exact same variety, but what makes them sweet is the lack of sulfur in soil. In fact, it's that sulfur that gives onions its pungency that makes you cry when you cut them. I'm Dan with FreshPoint, and that's the basics of carrots, onions, and celery.